right, excited for this one. I have my buddy Derek Demun on today. I've met Derek at a few archery shoots locally here in San Diego, and he's just a super positive dude and a dude who I feel like stories should be told um, in the local community. He's known down here in SoCal, and I feel like I want everyone else to hear from Derek and get to know Derek. What's up, Derek?
Hey man, how you doing? Super stoked to have me on.
Yeah, thanks, dude. What's I guess we'll kind of start with you, man. So I don't know you super well. I know that I've been to the last two shoots I've been at. You've been at, and you're kind of known around the industry in the it's like SoCal especially. And you're definitely a unique dude out of the archery shoot. You kind of stand out a little bit. We got to hang out with you at your campfire, the last one, and my 4 year old just thinks you're the coolest dude ever. Like every time I couldn't find my kid, he was just up at Derek's camp, just like hanging out his fire, trying to burn things down. So
Yeah, trying to light the forest up.
trying
Yeah,
to light the
cool,
forest on fire. Just
cool
start the
kid.
yeah. Dylan's he's a little bit of a psycho, but he's cool. Um, so yeah, dude, tell us about you.
Yeah, so like Drew said, my name's Derek. I'm a T8 paraplegic. That means I broke the thoracic 8 vertebrae, and when I got hurt, it bruised my spinal cord and ended up in a wheelchair. That was about 14 years ago, but then it got into hunting, and so I used to travel the world snowboarding, and that was my gig. I was just going from continent to continent, getting all year winters, and ended up in Lake Tahoe, and I was working a construction job, and just took one wrong step on a roof and fell off the side, and just landed the wrong way. Ended up in a chair, and for first couple of years were pretty tough. Like I had my entire life set out before me. I had a career. I had everything was dialed. I was going to be a paramedic up in the mountains, and yeah, it came to a screeching halt when I got hurt. So it took a couple of years to find out what I wanted to do in life, and it's when I got into hunting, and I was able to. After that first doe that I got out in Kansas, it was I was always looking for something for that to fill that adrenaline rush that I was getting snowboarding.
Yeah, I kind of want to talk about that a little bit because like if you were you professional snowboarding or are you just traveling snowboarding?
Yeah, I was just traveling.
Just a dirt bag, just a dirt bag.
Just
Not
yeah, just a dirtbag snow bum, just yeah, partying and getting the best turns. But that's
how
another.
old are you at this point?
Oh, that was 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and I got
Okay,
hurt like a couple months after my 21st birthday. But
okay,
yeah, that's what we're into is like doing. I focused on backcountry, so I was I'd throw the
okay.
snowshoes on and just smash out, camp, build snow caves, sleep in the snow cave out in the middle of BFE, no man's land, and just coming across massive animals, goats, rams, bears, moose, you name it. Like when you're putting yourself out there and you're adventuring, you're gonna see stuff. You know what I mean? And I'm sure I saw a couple squatches too. They're out there. So
So I mean, kind of ironic because I'm sure at this point your parents are probably like, "You're gonna kill yourself going backcountry. Like, just get a construction job." Right? I
fuck.
mean, your parents are probably like, what are you doing?" Right? So you're doing all this wild stuff, sending ledges. I mean, backcountry's fun. Sending ledges, doing all the gnarly stuff, going through trees, everything that is dangerous where all the signs are. You're jumping over the fence and going. And then to go from that, like being like which I feel like it kind of is a lot of dudes who do end up breaking their backs or necks, are hardcore dudes, right? Or are guys in the military, like guys who just have this, like, I don't want to say death wish, but this like kind of like
Push the envelope.
they like
Yeah, you push
adrenaline.
the envelope.
They push the envelope, right? Yeah. So that's kind of what makes it real, can be real hard, right? Because you go from like one of the most active people around to now not being able to do that. Um, and then to do it doing construction, not I don't know this is my first time hearing your story. Like I wasn't sure if it was like a military thing or what. I was like, I don't want to ask, I want to find out here. like to do it during construction. That's kind of ironic, I guess. But yeah, it
Yeah,
happens, right? It's just one of those things.
yeah, it is what it is. That's the mindset I have now. I go around from hiking around areas where you're constantly looking over your shoulder for avalanches. One wrong step and that whole snow slope will give out on you, and you're smoked. You know what I mean? And then I was just, the thing is too is I wasn't even really working construction. They're like, "Hey, can you go up on this roof real quick and paint this fascia?" I was like, "Yeah, dude, I'm 21. I don't care." They didn't have me tied off, tethered to anything. I was just like, like I'm jumping 50-foot cliffs on my snowboard. Yeah, I'm gonna go on a 10-foot roof. No worries, dude. And yeah, just reached a little too far off the edge, and now, yeah, that's all she wrote.
Dang, man. What so before we go into the hunting side of it, let's kind of go through that process a little bit. I want to understand that a little bit and like your mental state, right? With that. Cause like I feel like right now, like some of the stuff you've told me, I'm like, not about this or like just personally, has been like super motivational to me, like with you in regards to hunting. So like I know you love hunting, but like I have to imagine 21 years old, this happening, like you weren't like just super stoked.
Oh no, dude! It was those first couple of years were extremely dark. Yeah, I was just super super depressed, and I had my whole life in front of me, and I was living a sick life too. And then in the summertime, like going and just hiking backcountry streams and lakes and finding cool spots to go to, and like smashing out, and then just being stuck, and not having. I had no idea what I wanted to do in life because I had it all dialed already, and just yeah, that was a very tough moment. But during that moment, I met a lot of cool people, and I put my faith in Jesus, and I was able to actually, through that, and just working out, having faith in Jesus, that things will get better eventually down the line, and everybody has their own storm that they got to go through, dude, and life ain't peaches and cream. So it's I realized that once I came to that mindset, like, dude, you could actually like be a motivational factor for other people out there who are in wheelchairs and severely disabled and all that stuff. And it's like, so then I just was able to drag myself out of that. Getting in the gym 5 to 6 days a week, and like on those hard days, you put up more weight, just work harder, and just dripping sweat, and throw on your death metal music and just go hard at it, dude. And yeah, so just finding, being able to find the why again was
Mhm.
that yeah. Here I am on the Tricer
So
podcast, dude.
on the Tricer, you've made it.
I'm a
Um,
somebody.
so on getting saved, were you a Christian growing up?
Yeah, my mom raised me in the church. She raised me. She brought me back with it. When came into like my 14, 15 years old, she's like, "Hey, like you're a big dude now. So if you don't want to go, you don't have to go. I want you to go. I wish you would go." And but getting into once you get into high school, like your friends and your social groups, those are who really raise you at that point. And
Uh-huh.
I'm not gonna say I was a bad dude, but I got into a party scene, with smoking, drinking, partying, girls, all that, dude. And I really, I was the kind of guy where I would read a chapter of Proverbs during the day, and then 2 hours later, doing keg stands. So just the foundation was there, and that there's that verse in Proverbs, raise a child up in the way, and when he gets older, no matter what happens, he'll circle back and he'll come back. And I thank my mom so much for just giving me that strong foundation,
Mhm.
because without that foundation, I wouldn't have known where to go once I got hurt.
Yeah, dude, that's pretty gnarly. So I grew up and my mom's a drug addict. Not a Christian household at all. I was an atheist. I hated God. right? Because I just went through so much rejection growing up, and just so many times got let down. Just hated God. I would make fun of Christian kids in high school, and I was not a good kid in high school. I don't know where if you did you grow up in OC?
Yeah, Huntington Beach.
Huntington Beach. Okay, yeah. So we're down here in East County, but San Diego. But it's not a good dude. And I got a girlfriend my senior year that I tried to date forever, who's my wife now. Like, I tried to date her since like sophomore year, dude. Just trying to get her, could not land her. Finally landed her. Tried to break up with me like 5 times. Every time I was like, "You're not breaking up with me. I'm going to marry you." So, dude, so it hated God, and she got pregnant when we were 19, and I'm like, "This is little Drew," because he just got bit by a rattlesnake. This is little Drew, and we were in Hawaii, and I had my whole life ahead of me, and I was like, "Oh, well, we're gonna keep him." Like I was just ready to abort this kid because that's where I was in my life, right? I didn't want to be a dad. I wanted to travel. And she looks at me and she's like, "No, I'm a Christian." And I'm like, "You're what?" Like I had no idea because she was not walking with God, right? She was partying with me, doing bad stuff. And she's like, "No, I'm a Christian," because she had that foundation when she was a kid. The foundation was there, and she knew. She's like, "No, we shouldn't have been having sex. We shouldn't have been doing these things, and we need to go to church." And dude, like somehow she tricked me into going to church. And then like next thing I know, I'm going to Bible college. And I'm, leading a Bible study for 17 years, doing youth groups and doing all that stuff, right? It just
Yep.
radically changed my life. And like it's still today, like I'll see people in East County, they'll come to church once in a while, they'll be like, "You're the last person I thought I'd see here." Right. Or I like mentor one of these kids, and he's like 17 now, he had cancer, and he has a big event every year, and these girls from high school are there, and they're like, "You're the last person I thought would be a Christian." Like, she sent me like screenshots from her yearbook, and I'm just like bagging on her, like, "There's no such thing as God. Jesus is fake," and all this stuff. But that foundation that my wife's family put in her as a little girl, like, it came back around. Like, it truly does work. I mean, that changed our life. Hands down, that radically changed my life.
All for the better too, like yeah, it's
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I yeah, like I mean, don't get me wrong. There was definitely times where I was, suicidal thoughts, dude. I went from living what I considered a perfect life, hiking backcountry, getting sick runs, and then hiking backcountry and fishing for golden trout with my fly rod and miles deep, miles back there, no man's land. You're on your own back there, and then
Hmm.
just that sense of adventure and that sense of, I mean, it just sounds weird, but that sense of death just being right there on your fingertips and how
Hmm.
just testing it, dude, seeing how close you could really get. But when you do that, man, like the closer you get to death, the more alive you feel, dude. Like, so that was the life of them. But yeah, once I got hurt, it was game over. But I found that adrenaline, and yeah, and God put the right people in my life, and yeah, super stoked.
So now you get hurt. First couple years are rough. Find the Lord again. Come back to God again. Um, Now, where does like hunting come into this? Like, when do you start? Like, when do you pick up a bow? Because you don't even like. We'll get into it. But I mean, you had to start with rifles, right? Did you start with rifles or start with a bow?
Yeah, I started with the old 30-06 shooting whitetails.
Okay, okay. So you started with 30-06, and this. How do you get connected in Kansas? Let's talk about that. Like, how did you decide you want to go hunting? Let's get into that.
So I had always, like seeing being in the backcountry and seeing those animals, I was just super like it was always in the back of my mind. I just didn't have the connections or the right people in my life to like pursue that dream. Like we all got stuff in the back of our mind we'd like to do, and it was kind of just sitting there. And then I had told my uncle. My uncle's a big South Arizona hunter. Shooting big muleys, coos, and elks. And yeah, I was just super. I got blessed with him, and he had a friend who had some property out in Kansas, and just yeah, he did a bunch of work in the summertime, and the guy is like, "Hey man, instead of paying you, can I let you shoot, a couple whitetails off my property?" My uncle's like, "Yeah." He's like, "But my nephew, told him my story. He's like, he's been bugging me about going hunting, and he's like, you mind if he goes instead of me?" And I was like, yeah, no problem, because he takes a bunch of wounded veterans turkey hunting. He has a little a little turkey hunt during the summer for vets, and
Mhm.
I got in that first hunt was an extremely eye opening experience. The first morning out there is negative 13 degrees. It was so cold, our little portable heater stopped working. It was like, and we're just sitting there all through with my uncle's 6'4", my dad's 6'1", I'm 6 foot, and we're all sitting in this little 2-man blind, just snuggling each other, shivering like crazy, hoping something comes out. The deer were like, I ain't coming out, and I'm sitting, we didn't see nothing in the mornings, but man, those afternoons, those guys were moving like parades of whitetail. So it was cool.
And so I always say, because I always wanted to hunt big game, but I never knew how to. I never had anyone take me. So I had to get my own hunting license when I was 12. Um, Again, I like pretty much grew up as like a third grade. I was pretty much on my own. Like I was like, got my own hunting license. And one of my dad's friends hunted. He's just taking me bird hunting. So I bird hunted for like a decade, but I never went big game hunting because like that barrier to entry is really hard. Like to kind of get into that, right? It's intimidating, especially with no YouTube and stuff back then. You're kind of like just trying to figure it out. I would have probably been hunting in like state parks and stuff if I would have tried to hunt big
Oh
game
yeah, oh yeah.
back then. But I went on a pig hunt in like 2014, and like when I put my crosshairs on that pig and like just smashed that pig, it like changed my life.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. Like when you like put it like, and then we put like a big old long like 2 mile stalk on this pig and like went up over these hills and got up on them and like you're down there, they don't know you're there, and then you shoot them. Like it's just like I don't want to call it bloodlust, but maybe it's bloodlust. I don't know. Like once I did it, I was like, oh, I want to be a killer. Like I want to hunt. Like I want to find these animals and kill these animals and
Yeah.
right, and then like feed my family. Like the whole thing, everything about it just consumed me. Right, so much so that I started a hunting company. Right, it's just I love every aspect of hunting. So I imagine it's pretty much the same for you, right? So you get this. You shot a doe back there, or what did you shoot?
Yeah. Yeah. Just it was a big old doe, but yeah, just yeah, center punched it, and she piled up quick, but it was that immediate dump of adrenaline right after like I shot it and she kind of ran into the trees and piled up in the trees, so I was just like, oh god, please, 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 please. And then I see my uncle and my dad dragging it out, and like I was so hopeful, and once I saw that goal like manifest, like we're in the forest, and I yelled, yeah, I got all stoked. My uncle's like, shut the hell up, dude.
It's like you're on a powder run right now, just
Yeah,
freaking.
dude. He's like, bro, we're in the trees, dude. Like, you want to hunt this place tomorrow? Shut your mouth, dude. I was like, and then I got shaking. I found that adrenaline again, and I was like, dude, this is it, bro. Like, game over. I know where I'm gonna put my heart. I know where I'm gonna grind as hard as I can and see where this leads.
And that's 10 years ago.
Yeah, so it was about 4 years after I got hurt, and then I did probably 8 years in a row of just taking small does, and so the property I was hunting out in Kansas was it's a trophy managed hunt. Like they got 180s, 190s, 200s running around out there, and I mean I've seen it personally myself. Wasn't able to get a shot off on it, but when you see something of that caliber, you're like, oh my gosh, dude, like. But yeah, after that, and then just plucked a couple does out, and then I was just like, all right, made a checklist, and I was like, all right, every year, one of these animals on this checklist is going down. So
So you and how long were you rifle hunting? So this has all been rifle the whole time when you're doing this,
yeah,
Kansas?
yeah. So I was rifle hunting whitetails, and then so it was probably about 6 or 7 years after I picked up the rifle where I got my first bow, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go hunt. I set up a black bear hunt over bait. I was like, this is perfect, dude. I'm gonna just sit 20, 30 yards, and I'm gonna pluck a bear. And about 2 months before that bear hunt, I tore my rotator cuff.
Dude, I
Um,
tore mine a couple years ago, my labrum. It took me a year to recover.
I, yeah, I'm. It took me about 2 years to heal, but I'm still not 100%. Like if I
Yeah,
work
neither am
out,
I.
I could still feel it. It's still there. It'll be there for the rest of my
Yeah,
life.
me too.
Um, so yeah, I was just plucked a couple, and I was kind of bummed on that, and then I went and I actually got like a good bow, and I was just dedicated. Once my shoulder was healed up and I got it, I was at the range throwing 150 200 arrows a couple times a week, and
You're sick for it.
yeah, I was all about it. And like the thing about archery, it's not even like the hunting part that's cool. Like it's therapeutic, dude. Like
Hmm.
there's steps. Like you have to follow all your steps, like your 5 to 7 steps or something like that, and then just calming your heart. That heartbeat could throw off your pin. Like calming yourself down and just boom, 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 and yeah, got into that, and then yeah, started finally getting some critters with the old stick and string. Man, it was sweet. This guy behind me, my first bow kill. So
Oh, that's the antelope that in that video from last year.
yep, yep.
Oh, so you got your first you. So you're just now getting the bow kills. So now, but like you're, it's crazy because like you already have like I don't want to say disadvantage, but you definitely have like you definitely have already put a handicap on. No pun intended, right? And
You're
then
good.
and then you go, and then now you go and you pick up a bow. And this year we were talking like what tag? Like you don't have a rifle tag this year.
I will depending on my Arizona deer tag. Um, I'm going to go at it with a bow, but if it's coming down to the last day or two, then yeah, I'll pick up the rifle.
And you're not shooting a crossbow.
No, compound
You mean
67 pound draw. I just got the Hoyt RX8 Nitrix.
yeah.
Woo!
So you could, I mean, but like you could go and get your handicap license and shoot a crossbow if you wanted to.
Oh yeah, yeah, but
But why? Right? So
yeah, it's I mean, too easy. But I'm so addicted to the game. It's the compound has a part of my soul. So I
yeah,
feel I feel like I'm cheating on her when I pick something else up. I
yeah.
just don't want to let my girl down. You know what I mean?
Just get compound only, no crossbows. I like that. So what tags do you have this year?
So I got a landowner archery cow elk tag in northeast Utah. I'm gonna be hitting up southwest Utah OTC. Um, got a couple water spots on there. I got a northern Arizona A4 cow elk tag and South Texas in December, and then hopefully this Arizona deer hunt in early November. But that Arizona deer tag is it's basically a given. So I pulled it every year I've applied, God willing.
I'm hunting. I have like 10 points in Arizona, so I'm in like no man's land. Man, I have 11 points, and I just need to burn them because I'm never gonna draw the tags I wanted to draw. They've just been creeping every year. Like the tags I wanted to draw, I wanted to draw a Kaivab tag, and like when I first started doing it, it was like 8 or 9 points to draw it, and now it's like 17,
20.
it's 20. It's
Yeah.
just going up every year. I'm just like I'm in no man's land, so I might even just draw a like late season coos hunt and just say screw it. That way I can go hunt muleys every year over there or coos year over year over there. Probably coos year,
Right.
honestly, because it's just like you get in no man's land with some of these states where it's like I can draw 90% of the tags right now over there, but like it's like, well, why do I want to draw a tag that I could draw 5 points? I already have 10, so why not just wait? But it's like you're waiting for nothing, it's just creeping and creeping and
Yeah.
creeping on you. I hate the point game, dude. I just got burned. Colorado, I had a 7 points for this unit, and it was 100% draw odds on go hunt, and I freaking got crept, and I didn't draw the tag. So 32 out of 35 guys did not draw the tag with 7 points, and it's just like, dude, like what the heck, man? Like I just like I wanted to go, so I had these plans. So now I'm just like, whatever. I told Joey, right? Do you know Joey, the guy I've been shooting with a bunch? I don't know if you know Joey or
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, he I told him yesterday we went out. We went. And, we'll talk about that a little bit too. But we went and hung out yesterday and shot the bows and stuff. And I was like, let's just go to Colorado and go over the counter. Like I don't care. So we're gonna go to Colorado over the counter, just spend freaking 10 days over there, and we're gonna probably not get it done, but we're gonna try our best
Hey,
to get it done. Dude,
you,
you can't shoot it from my
you're
couch.
exactly. You're not gonna harvest if you don't try, dude. And yeah, that's what got me. That's what got me too. Is like it being able to go out and hunt. That gave me a reason to not lay in bed and focus on what
Mm-hmm.
happened. And because if you lay down like the Bible says, um, tem- idle minds lead to temptation, and it's just idle minds. You think too much, and then you think on the negatives. Like or at least personally for me, I can't speak for everyone, but it gave me a reason to get out there and hunt. And I picked up the bow, and my first bow hunt was a antelope over the counter tag. My niece's husband he did predator control for a rancher out there, and they had a water hole, and just tons of antelope coming into that water hole. So he put me on there, and I smoked a giant. My
Dude,
first
it's a
my
big
first bow
antelope.
my first bow kill was an absolute unit, dude. So like I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm all about this. And then that was in 2020. So that's a 2020 buck. And then 2021, I went back there and plucked another giant, and that was the one on my YouTube
Oh, the
videos.
video. Yeah, yeah.
That
Okay.
second one, yeah. And then I also I got a 12-foot alligator with my bow as well. So that was a hell of an adventure on that guy,
Dude, I'm
man.
jealous
Wow.
on that one. I want to do that. I want to get one.
Yeah, I got him rugged out. I was
Do
like,
you?
because like, man, I was like, I'm probably not ever gonna go alligator hunting again. Like, don't get me wrong, alligator meat's bomb and good eats and all that, but I'm like, it's just I have so many animals on that checklist. I might, circle back. Who knows, years from now, but I was like, I might never go back again. And this thing is an absolute giant. And they were like, oh yeah, you can get the alligator skin, but they're gonna keep the feet. I was like, wait, what? I was like, they ain't keeping my feet, dude. Like that's my animal. So I went and I opened up the bank account and rugged him out, and he's staring on my wall. So
What does a 12-foot alligator cost to get rugged out? 2 grand?
yeah, like 22.
22? Yeah, it's freaking dope though. So do you guys have like? I wish I could see it, but it probably has like. Does it have the head on there still too, like the teeth, and then it rugs out? Oh yeah, that's rad. Did you
Yeah,
get?
I
Did
got
you
him.
skull the euro? Did you euro the skull?
Yeah, right in the back of the eyes. They did a great job. Oh, Euro the skull.
Yeah.
Oh no! I thought you said arrow the skull. I was like, yeah, no, I uh, I didn't arrow the skull. I just got the thing rugged, and I got it with its mouth open too, so it's all intimidating. And it's funny too because I'm from Southern
Uh,
California, Huntington Beach boy, and people open up my front door and come into my house, and they see a 12-foot alligator. It's like, oh, conversation piece right there, dude. So
yeah.
what the hell is that thing?
So, what is that like? Did you arrowed him behind the head?
Yeah, so there's like a softball, maybe not even a softball, like a baseball sized triangle that you have to aim for, like right behind the eyes. You want to get it in the brain. You want to kill that thing as much as possible to not have to experience what I experienced. As a pissed off dinosaur trying to roll your boat. So I'm gonna go into that story. Might as well.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
Let's do it. Let's hear about it.
so I get out there and I met up with a rad dude. He's pretty famous on Instagram now. He goes by the tag handle Python Cowboy. He does like a bunch of like um, boa snake hunts, iguana hunts, gator hunts, like rad. He's just like me, but he's a country boy. So we clicked right away. We got on a boat. It's just like a 19-foot center console, and we get out there and I have no idea what I'm looking for, and so I get up the glass and I'm like, oh, there's like debris in the water. Oh, there's a log there. There's a log there. And then once I got eyes on my first gator and I knew what I was looking for, I my the scenery completely changed. We were covered in gators. We went out Lake Okeechobee down in South Florida, and it's got the highest density population of alligators anywhere in the world. And man, dude, like he knows what he's doing. He put me right in the honey hole, and we found this guy. And what they do is they had a raw chicken, and they had it's like a tuna rod, with like 400-pound test. Like you're gonna go catch like 500-pound bluefin tuna. Get that, and they tied a wire around the chicken. They dropped the chicken, opened up the bail, and then we drove probably 200 yards past the gator. Then flipped the bail open, and they just started jigging that chicken on top of the water, and the vibration on top of that water, that gator's like, saw it right away, swam up to it, grabbed it, and so the gators have this flap that goes over their esophagus. So when they get food, they don't have a bunch of water going down into their gut, so they have this flap. But then once they open up that flap and they throw their head back, like you're taking a shot of whiskey, like you throw their head back, and that chicken went down its gut, and that flap goes over. Well, it's really hard for them to open that flap up to regurgitate said chicken once he knew he was screwed. So he went down and he had that chicken in his gut, and he went down to the bottom of the lake, and they sit down on the bottom of the lake, and they let their digestive system just basically eat away at whatever they just ate. So he was going there, and we throw the trolling motor on there, creep up to it at like a mile an hour, 2 miles an hour, and get right on top of it.
Is there a hook? Is there a hook? Is there a hook in
No.
there?
So no hook. So that's the thing.
That's
Once that chicken goes in their gut, you got them. Basically, it's no hook. So had a good old another country boy bring him up to the surface, and when he got him up to this, because they asked me if I wanted, and I tried to do it. So like with me, I'm paralyzed from basically my top rib down, so I don't have any core muscles. I can't like bend over and like pick up heavy stuff. So I tried doing it, and I couldn't get a freaking 800-pound alligator out of the water. Understandable. So I gave the rod to the dude, and he brought it up to the top. And once he got it up to the top, I just went and put that top pin on right behind its head. But we're on a boat. You're on our boat that's rocking, So they picked me up and put me on the front of the boat, like I don't know boat terms, but there's that ledge on the front of the boat where you stand on it and you go like bass fishing, So they got me up on there. My dad's standing down on the in the hole, and I'm up on that ledge, and he's holding on, and we're on a rocking boat, and I'm trying to shoot a gator with a rocking boat. Well, I pulled the trigger, and my arrow, instead of hitting him in the back of the head, went through one cheek and out the other. So commenced the absolute cluster of an adventure right there. This guy got pissed off, He can't blame the dude. He starts thrashing. His tail is bashing up against our boat. We're rocking hard. Everyone, captain's all, hold on tight. My dad, the only thing he has to hold on is my wheelchair. I was like, please don't drop me in the water, Dad. Like, my life is in your hands right now. There's a pissed off dinosaur ready to kill me, dude. Like, so he's holding on, the boat's rocking, his tail's thrashing, and boom, and they go, and dude, my Python cowboy, his name's Mike. Mike hands me a harpoon. So what you want to do, you want to get as many lines in them as possible. So if line A breaks, you got line B, C, so forth. So got line A is going through his cheek, and he goes, here, hands me a six.
Oh, there's a string on your bow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you got a big old broadhead on there, and there's a string that comes off.
Okay.
And I hand him the bow, and he hands me a 6-foot harpoon. and I was like, no shit, like, cool, dude. And hand me this harpoon, and like I remember I feel like a kook now, but like at the time I had so much adrenaline pumping through me. This dinosaur's thrashing, pissed off, they wrestle the gator back over to the boat, and I get this harpoon, and I chuck a harpoon at the back of his head, and I yell at the same time like, ah, and I threw it, and boom, and I hit him in the back of the head, but I didn't get him in the brainstem. So thrashing. But then they hand you what's called a bang stick. It's like a 6-foot
Oh
metal
yeah.
rod, and it had a 357 Magnum round at the tip of it. So they got the gator up. He was hurt, and I felt super bad. You know, we don't want to hurt animals, and I was like, just give me something to like finish this off, dude. They gave me the bang stick, and I popped it right in the brain, and yeah, he bellied up after that. But that was fun, man. Let me tell you, an adventure, dude. Like when you're wrestling a 12-foot dinosaur, and like he's pissed off, like it was cool, man. And we all afterwards we all just started hooting and hollering and high fiving because they had never guided a guy in a wheelchair. I mean, like I've seen some photos of dudes doing it, but it's not like a common thing that dudes in wheelchairs do, you know. And
Yeah.
so they were just super pumped on it. We're all hooting and hollering. They busted out a couple of beers. We all cracked one and just sat there with a 12-foot alligator inside the boat. The deck's bloody, you know, bloody decks, dude. We're all covered in blood and muck and mire, and because when he was thrashing and splashing, you know, there's all that algae on the water, and we're all covered in goo and just laughing our heads off, drinking. It was just cool, man. You know, a bunch of dudes doing what dudes do. So
Yeah, that's cool. I like how you did it because like I have this like weird like I want to do it, but what I don't want to do is go out and like catch one that's been caught on a stick. You know what I mean? Like they have those things
oh
where they
yeah.
catch them on. And that's why I was like, the you chose to do it like that's like spot and stock. Like that's dope. Like I can get into that. Like I don't want to go out and like have someone catch it on a hook and I go out there and shoot it. I
No.
want to go out there and like find one and like have a chance of it to eat me. Like that sounds a lot cooler to me.
Yeah, so that was the thing that attracted me to that hunt because you know, like I've been on a couple hunts where they were basically gimme hunts, you know, like the animals aren't really like too active, and it wasn't fun. So I searched it out and I hit him up. I was like, so what's the process? How are we going to do this? He's like, oh yeah, it's basically we get out there, get the glass on it right at sunlight, glass. You find when you want. They ran me through the story. I was like, damn, dude, like that's what I want to do, and like I want to make it as hard as possible just to see if I can do it. You know,
Mhm.
like I said, those easy hunts aren't fun. I mean, don't get me wrong, like most of the time I'm out there hunting out in public land. It's if I'll find a wallow, I'll find you know a little water source, some feed or like a transition area, and I'll blind up and I'll you know cut branches and I'll throw a burlap blanket over my wheelchair and I'll blind up and get in there. But like I said, like we talked about, like I don't get the spot and stock, dude. Like I'm in a wheelchair. My shoulder, I'm already on a torn rotator, and my shoulders are all I have to work with. So anytime I get an opportunity to spot and stock, whatever it may be, you know, I'm all about it. That's what I got a new contraption. I got an e-bike attachment that goes into the front of my wheelchair. And yeah, I'm pretty pumped on that. Gonna get steep and deep this year.
That's rad, dude. So I have a few more things I want to go into on this, but what really drew me to you because I've seen you around, right? Um, what drew me to you is we were talking, and one of the guys I was with was just saying like he was out on a hunt, and these guys were just complaining like, "Oh, he has to hike 5 miles out of here. This sucks." Blah blah blah. And Derek's like, "You don't know what I would give to have to hike 5 miles out with an elk on my back." And I was like, "I gotta have you on the podcast because that like hit me like, and that's gonna stick with me for a long time because I'm gonna be on a bunch of hunts this year, and I'm just gonna be like, dude, this does not suck that bad."
Yeah, yeah, that's one of the hardest parts of watching hunting videos and seeing these guys go on these epic adventures. Like you mentioned, you're going on a hunt with Gritty, dude. I'm a big fan of it, of his show, and watching. I just watched one this morning where they were hunting uh, black bear out yonder, and they were just just getting after it, dude. Like embracing the sucks, sitting in the rain and the muck and the
Mhm.
mire and the hiking. Like I said, from my past life, like I would put on miles and I would pack tents, I would backpack all that stuff in, backpack food, water, all that, and so just yeah, man, it's tough, but you make do with what you got, dude. I'm not gonna sit here and whine and complain. I make do. I get it done. Um, I
You're
put food.
killing more than most people do.
I put food in the freezer. That's the mo. So
Yeah. With like you said, like you don't like the easy hunts. Do you find like you take strike as a guy who doesn't want people to like be like treating you differently? Like, do you find like people are like, oh yeah, I got to hunt for you, and like it's just like they want to make it as easy as you can. Like, I guess once they get to know you, you realize like, oh no, this guy can do it. Like, you don't want to be like treated differently. You want to get out there and hunt. Like when we do these archery shoots, like there's not a handicap course, bro. Like you're out there doing it, dude.
yeah, get it. You make it work, dude, and it's I mean, don't get me wrong, on a lot of those courses, it's the group you're shooting with. I try to surround
Yeah.
myself with solid dudes, who are like that. I did a shoot down in Julian down in San Diego, and yeah, the course was not wheelchair accessible at all, man. And we come across this,
Wet.
yeah, wet, muddy. Oh, dude, I was muddy central. We got come across this obstacle where it's three fallen oak trees, and we're like, dude, how are we gonna get past that? And we sat there, we brainstormed. I carry a handsaw with me, wherever I go hunt, and that's how I blind up. I'll carry my handsaw. I'll cut down branches, throw it over my wheelchair, throw it in front of me, and busted out the handsaw, and we started getting after it. There was a bunch of deadfall in the area. Just started cutting up trees, and built a bridge, built a ramp up to the first oak, filled in the gaps of the separating oaks, and built a ramp on the backside of the oaks, dude. And it took an hour, but we got it done, and we smashed through the. That's what made that shoot was so much fun. Not even shooting; it was just the amount of obstacles we had to come across and conquer. That's what stuck with me. Like, yeah, shooting foam, shooting rubber targets in the mountains. Like, yeah, that's what we do. That's all summer. That's what we do. But going through situations where people would throw in the towel very easily, and I could see why. Like, but being like, you know what? No, let's do this, dude. Let's. It might take us a month. That's one of my main things. Like, I'll get it done. It might take a lot longer for me to get it done, but don't underestimate me. I'll get it done, dude. So there was a lot. It was just a lot of fun overcoming those obstacles.
That's awesome, man. Um, let's talk about that. Like, there's something to said about like hunting is a community, but archery, like the friendships I'm forging through archery, is it's just different, right? Like me and this guy Joey, like we just met like 4 or 5 months ago, and we're hanging out like once or twice a week now. Like he's just a dude. Like there's something to be said about even like doing these shoots together and like getting out there. Like it's. I always tell people it's like golf but not gay. Like these archery shoots. You know what I mean? Like it's super fun.
It's exactly not gay golf, dude. I know exactly what you're talking, but yeah, it's like I have my hunting community, but once I picked up a bow and started hitting up these 3D shoots and just it's not even a community, man. It's a family, dude. Like I had so many people I could just call up and chat, like whatever the heck's going on, or if I have a question, like I come across an obstacle, I'm like, oh, so and so conquered this hunt X amount of years ago with a stick and string. Like, hit him up. Oh, he gives me a little information. Okay, I got a little information here. Contact this guy or gal, and they shoot me some information and just put the pieces of the puzzle together. But it's like, yeah, it's more of a family than a community, man. I mean, I've met so many cool people. That's how I met you. Getting out there and shooting bows, and yeah, good stuff, good people.
Yeah, I feel like I don't think hunting like with a rifle is different, but there's something about bows like everyone wants to see you succeed. I think you already have such a like with a bow, you're already like putting yourself at such a disadvantage,
Oh
with a
yeah,
bow. Like everyone wants to like see, no one's out there like when you miss. I mean, when you miss, you're gonna get punked. I mean, you're gonna get made fun of. It's just that's the part of it. It's just fun. But like, no one's out there like wanting to see you fail. Like everyone's supporting you, and you're working together, and they're giving you tips, and you're just learning. And it's just like it's such a cool community, the archery community. I really enjoyed it, and like I could see myself in the pretty near future just going almost full time bow. Like I have some rifle hunts this year, and I'm kind of like I'm real excited about my bow stuff. That's why when I didn't draw that Colorado tag, I was like, well, no, I'm going no matter what because I want to go archery hunt that Colorado. I want to go kill an elk. I haven't killed an elk with my bow. I've done it with a rifle, and like I mean, honestly, the kill side of it isn't really what I'm in it for. It's the adventure side of it, pretty much like
Oh
all my
yeah.
stuff, and the challenge. And I feel like the bow just like brings it even more. Getting closer to the animal and getting in there. And there's so much more that has to go right with a bow than with a rifle. Like even like your your antelope hunt, like I watched that and I'm like, dude, like that antelope, like so much had to go right for you to kill him, and he just like he like wanted to be famous, dude. He wanted to be killed, dude. He was like,
And the thing too with that hunt, it was 98 degrees out there.
oh,
I'm sitting in a blind in my underwear, dripping sweat off my forehead, and this guy. I mean, when it gets that hot, they have to drink, dude. They can't go without water. They people, you just can't go. And that's the main thing when I get on these like really hot hunts. Like the weather will absolutely dictate how I hunt, where I hunt, and when I hunt. So if it's a hot day, first thing I'm focused on is water. If it's a cold day, I'm going to those food spots. If I'm hunting the rut, I'm looking for transitions and saddles. Um, but yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong. Like my goal is to hunt everything with a bow and arrow, but sometimes the terrain
mhm.
will dictate, absolutely dictate if I pick up a rifle or not. Like I was down in southern Arizona last year, about 20 miles from the Mexican border, and I got on. I was hunting coos, hunting mountain whitetails, and I was sit up. We were traveling all over the area, dropping waypoints, dropping using on the Onyx, getting on it, looking after, finding water holes, finding everything coos need, and ended up finding just asking around too. I asked the sheriff of the local town. I came in like, this is my position. This is what we're doing. Do you have any idea or what's good? And he's like, you know what? He's like, he gave me a spot, gave me a waypoint, and he's like, I take a buck every year off of this spot. So just sit there, sit tight, and something will come through. And first night, I had this guy dead. I had a buck dead to rights at 40 yards. But so with me being paralyzed from the chest down, I could only rotate my body
Mhm.
50 degrees. Okay. So I can't like pick my body up, my bow, and move around and get still. If I do that, they're going to spot me, hear me, because those coos deer are extremely, extremely skittish deer. Like
Mhm.
I saw a butterfly fly out of a tree and these deer fly off, dude. Like they're super skittish. So this buck comes in and he comes about 10 feet from my angle of window, and I couldn't rotate any farther without making noise or falling over. And this guy stopped right there, looked around, and walked right back up into the tree. I was like, dang, dude. So I came back that next night, sat on that water hole, and he came out 120 yards, and he wasn't even coming to the water. He was just transitioning through the area. And I don't know if anyone here is hunting coos deer, but you're in the mountains. And so he was going from a mountain coming down. There was a little valley, and then he was going right back up into another mountain. And he was transitioning at 120 yards. I was like, all right, no, this guy was an absolute unit. So I went, picked up my rifle, threw it on the tripod, and let him have it. Ended up harvesting a 110-inch coos.
No way.
Yeah, he's an absolute unit,
On
dude. Like
public land dude, no way.
public land, southern Arizona, fighting the Orange Army, dude. And like I've heard of the Orange Army, but I've hunted a lot of private land in my life, dude. So and I was like, I wasn't expecting to see that many people in Arizona because it's basically a gimme tag. Um, every campsite, cars, trailers, tents, people side by
Yeah.
sides, ATVs smashing everywhere. You're like, dude, like, and then gunshots are going off left and right. I'm like, this is the Wild West out here, you know. And but I was able to the spot that the guy gave me. I drive a Toyota Tacoma, and it's got it's a smaller framed truck. And there would have been no way I would have been able to get to this spot the guy gave me with like a full like a Tundra or a F-150 or any of those bigger size trucks, just because the trail going up there was super thin. I was in four-wheel low for 45 minutes of the hour drive, just like going up steep and deep. It's all riveted out from rains and monsoons, and it's just a spot that people were like, I ain't going up there, you know. I mean, if you had an ATV or like a little side by, you'd be all right. But yeah, got up to that spot. And it was super cool that first night too. I forgot to mention this, but that first night after that buck left, and I was sitting there, I was like, he might come back out. He might come back out. But then and we were just covered up in deer. Like, so I don't know if I counted. I guarantee you, I counted the same deer more than once. But I had 27 different encounters that night.
Yeah.
Just it could have been deer coming in and then leaving and then coming back, so they got counted twice. But whatever, I had 27 different opportunities of deer coming in, and it just stopped, instantly stopped. I'm like, what the heck is going on? And then a mountain lion
Yeah.
started popping off. I did that for a good like minute, 2 minutes, just rawr. I was like, it's humbling hearing a cat that size popping off like that. It was, but that's another thing. Is like, even if I didn't get to hunt the harvest a deer that hunt, I have a core memory for the rest of my life from that mountain lion popping off like that. I've never heard anything like that, and it was one of the coolest things I've ever heard in my life. So super stoked it worked out.
Yeah, I had one this year come in on a bunch of deer, go over a hill, kill a deer. I assume he killed a deer because you hear this the chaos and all the deer running everywhere, and the deer were just gone. Blew my whole basin out. It came in there, just deer were going everywhere. It looked like coos deer are my jam. They're my favorite thing to hunt, hands down. I'll hunt them every year, the rest of my life. I love them.
Yep,
But yeah,
I'm
dude,
hooked.
110 incher. That's freaking. I don't want to say it's unheard of, but that's freaking impressive. That's a cool cop right there. That's for sure.
Yes, he had his left brow tine was split, so he had two brow tines on the left. It's just a beautiful deer mass, and he had the body of a muley. Like, this was a mature big deer. I brought it into the taxidermist, and he's like, hot damn, man, like, right on, man. Look at this thing. So when the taxidermist says that, you're like, cool.
Yeah, you know it's a good buck. You know it's a good buck for sure.
Right, right.
Dude, that's awesome, man. That was a rad podcast. What's I guess we should finish with this. I want to hear your bucket list. What animals you want to hunt? What's left?
I mean, so I got bull elk. I haven't been able to harvest a bull elk. I've just been able to pull cow tags. Uh, bull elk definitely. I mean, all the Alaskan big game animals. You know, the boos, the moose, the bears. I'm going to South Africa next September for 10 days, so I'm gonna pluck a bunch of those critters out. The main thing I really want, besides a kudu, you know, we all want a big old kudu or a sable, but I want a baboon. I want to get a full body, full taxidermy, angry, pissed off baboon and hang it in the corner of my house. But other than that, man, it's yeah, that, and then you got your New Zealand stags, and yeah, we'll see. I've been putting in for some sheep hunts too, because I've been talking to a lot of people about sheep hunts, and did the research and talked to the right people about some of these sheep that are coming down to feed, or early in the day, and before they go back up into the elevations, and hopefully I can catch one slipping here soon. So God willing, we'll see what he's got in store for me. But yeah, definitely blessed.
Why not, dude? Why not? Never
Right.
know. You can't shoot them from your freaking couch.
No, and I'm more than likely I'm gonna do an Alaskan hunt here. So I go to Alaska every summer for halibut and salmon.
Okay.
I got a buddy out there who's got a boat, and he takes us out there all the time. But yeah, I need to get up there in September, and yeah, I'm lining some stuff up down the chamber. So we'll see what God has in store.
Rad, dude. I guess plug your YouTube channel, plug your Instagram too. You got YouTube now coming out videos and that stuff.
Yeah, so the Instagram is T8_outdoorsman, and it's the same thing for my YouTube, T8_outdoorsman, and yeah, so the YouTube just trying to drop all my hunts, and a lot of these 3D shoots, and just showing the obstacles and stuff that we're putting my wheelchair through. So yeah, good stuff, good clean fun.
Nice, dude. Thanks, bro. Let's do it again.
Absolutely stoked.
Thank
Thank you.
you.